This is the story of the king of Kora, Jaliba Kujateh of the Gambia, a talented artist who made the ancient and very traditional Mande music of the Mandinka into what is sometimes today referred to as Kora pop music. Jaliba Kujateh, a Gambian citizen, can trace his roots back to Mali. He is the son of Keba Sunti Kujateh, also a Kora player, and Bakoto Mbie, a singer. He began playing Kora, the African 21-string lute harp, early at the tender age of 5. Can you just give us a brief, on your humble background, like when did it all start, and did you just bump into music, or is it in the blood, like they say, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, as it is already known, I am from the Gambia, Africa, from a village called Nyamena Dankunku, which is about 250 kilometers from the capital, inward. I was born in this place and brought up there. I was born in a family that played Kora music, a griot family. I found my father performing on the Kora, and my mother was a Kora singer for him. So his father too was a player. His great-grandparents were all playing. Meaning, I found the instrument in the family, and it's in the blood already. So, since at the age of 5, 6, I was introduced to it. My father was using the instrument as a form of punishment, like if I became stubborn. He was confining me to a corner in his room to give me a tune to master before he would let me go up to play with my friends. So in that sense, he was somewhat teaching me.
Although he showed talent on the Kora instrument, Jaliba Kujateh stopped playing in order to commence primary school education. But did he leave the instrument totally?
I went on like that until I was taken to school. I did not leave the instrument totally. I was taken to school at the age of 8. And the school career was about 15 to 16 years that I spent up to the secondary school and up to the Gambia College when I was going to be trained as a qualified teacher. And when I went to the college, I went along with the instrument, and that was where the thing started. Because it was the first time somebody with Western education, up to my caliber, being able to play on one of the traditional instruments and schooled already, done formal schooling. So this rapidly gave me a name. And people were traveling to come to the college to see whether, because they were expecting elderly, very grown-up people to be playing on the instrument. That was how it was happening, because somebody learning on the instrument will have to take a long trend of about 8-9 years on the normal apprenticeship. So apprenticeship is normally from father to son. Sometimes you go to some other families, you are sent and term those places as your school to be taught the Kora. Anyway, that's where the whole thing started, and my name just came. When I started, it was so rapid. I quickly had a name, a teacher as well as a Kora player.
Fantastic. So, which means I can readily classify you as a modern griot.
Yes, yes, a modern one. Yes.
Wow, this sounds quite good. And now, as a teacher, you qualified as a teacher.
Right. Right.
And you were teaching in a secondary school.
In a primary school. Right.
And at the same time, you were also performing as a choral.
Yes. Yes.
How did that rub off on your job as a teacher?
Yes, and this is why I wrote very, very quickly to the education department to say, because there was too much demand for my music for society, I said I was not going to spend a good time with my kids. So I wrote very quickly. After qualification, I taught for some 2 years. I wrote to the department to say, well, can you please retire me? Because I think I am going to be a full-time musician. I'm not a teacher anymore. But in my music, I found Kora music on a style that I have almost totally changed. Because Kora music originally was meant for praising our kings and chiefs and great warriors so that they fight well on battlefields. But when I came, I thought of changing the trend a bit, that is bringing in some educative ideas, like how do we mold our children? How do we go about politics? Because it's too much chaotic in Africa, some people don't understand. Okay. Like when I started, the killer disease, the message of the killer disease AIDS came up, and any information that society needs to know were written in English and at meeting places. About 80% of my community have not been to school, so I was using my Kora to convey these messages to society. That was how I have modernized the way of playing it and standardized it.
Fantastic. Yeah, because Kora and the concept of griot is about educating, informing, and entertaining.
On historical lines.
Yes, all put together. You took it to another level.
Yes. Right.
Now, to talking more about the concept of griot or jali or whatever it's called, I know it's much more well known or practiced within the Senegambia, Mali, and Guinea. The old empire, if I
the Mali Empire,
the Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, all rotated within that area.
You know something about that place,
of course.
Yeah, it seems.
so what I'm looking at now is like I want to see, how do you see the future, of the griot tradition today, like in these areas where it is held very strongly. Is it transforming into new approach like what you just said? Or are people still trying to keep it like how it is being from the beginning?
Yeah. I am trying to teach that section too, because the young musicians that have started, thought it differently. They started not even using our traditional instruments, but they started doing rap music and this American stuff, hip-hop and the like. So I am trying to teach so many people around my area that music is a universal language, and all tribes and all ethnic groups can communicate through music. Whatever music you want to play, but try to incorporate your traditional one. So this is what I have brought, and even the young ones now on the hip-hop lines and the others are including the Kora, are including the balafon, are including the talking drum on their music. I think that is a good thing. The historic part of it may fade out a bit. That is, the Jali in ancient ages is in a position of molding the society. They are the most vocal people. When you want a marriage to be done between two people, he is the one to get up to, well, bring the situation, understanding between the two parties. And also, when society wants to say something to a chief or to a king, then he will use his music. Sing him, and then afterwards, even if it is something, a very hard talk, he is always in a position, very daring, to stand and face the king and talk such things. So maybe that trend will fade out a bit, but the music will stay, I think, because whatever music they play, they can incorporate.
Have you done some cooperation work with other artists of your caliber?
Musicians.
Yeah, musicians within Africa.
Yes, quite a number of them from Senegal. I have done mixed programs with them, and some few musicians from Guinea, and some upcoming musicians in the Gambia. Because when they want the name, and what they normally do is they come, give me their song, they have their part, and I also sing a part on it, so that, oh, he's with Jaliba, then it comes, because there I am known already. So that's it.
And let's move to another area, the area of the state of music and the music industry, within the political atmosphere in Africa generally. Of course, with special emphasis on the Gambia. What would you think would be the role of the African musician within the African social setting and socio-political setting?
Now the politicians cannot do anything and exempt us, because we are crowd pullers, and whatever they do, like in the Gambia, if the president wants a very big crowd, he will invite all the musicians to come, and maybe the message he's going to give is not yet known to people, but the musicians that are going to be there, it's going to be some merrymaking that will call a lot of people. So this is why the politicians, I think, are using us a great deal. And as I said, the way I have transformed the way of playing the music, I can always convey a lot of message, like even from politicians to society, and from society to politicians.
And then you think that the typical Gambian musician is finding it easy to make a living through this organization nowadays?
Well, it's hard to say, but for the time being, I'm the only successful one in my country. The rest are political performers. They will only perform when there is a political gathering. But internationally, like when I perform in the Gambia, I can call up a crowd up to 10,000 people, depending on the type of the program. But if I go to Senegal as well, I can pull a big crowd because the name is gone. Like I started when I was very young. It's a long time, like 25 years ago. And I have that same ability in Guinea-Bissau, in the Casamas, in the sub-region.
You're a special ambassador of the
UNICEF, yes.
UNICEF.
Yes.
Yeah, can you give us a little bit about, what is your role and ambassador?
Yes. At first, when I started music, most of my preachings, like 90% of all that I preach, were based on women, empowering women and kids, young ones. I think this is why the UNICEF thought it wise to say, well, let's get this man as a goodwill ambassador. And I think also I am very vocal, because now I am very useful to them. Like when they want to pronounce this to society, that they are expecting an epidemic, how to prevent before it comes for us to cure. They use me a great deal. I will go to villages or towns, have my music set, even without advertising. I'll just hit. Then in less than 1 hour, we'll get thousands gathered. So they always give me what to say. So I just come. and then start going around, talk. And when I talk, they think my media is the quickest in society. So they're using me a great deal. Recently, proper hand washing was lacking back home. And this is giving a lot of abdominal diseases to our kids. How proper hand washing should be done, like with soap and with clean water, at which time? When we are from the toilets and when we are preparing food for kids and even for the whole family. The important times when proper hand washing is needed. So I have done that just a few months ago before I came here. So they're using me, they're benefiting from my ambassadorship.
Merci, mon papa. Merci. Thank you.